These pictures from captured German film of an actual air duel between a Spitfire and a Messerschmitt tell their own story. This Spitfire pilot did not know his acrobatics as well as his enemy. One brave Allied flyer will never have another chance to learn. It's too late to learn when you start playing for keeps. That's why acrobatics are essential to every military pilot. Here's an American pilot off to practice acrobatics. Let's see what he must remember to do. Before taking off in a dual control airplane, the pilot must fasten the safety belt in the other cockpit, release the controls, and check the airplane for loose objects which might cause trouble. Then he enters his own cockpit and checks that. He fastens the safety belt, making sure that it is secure and snug. There he goes, ready to practice the maneuvers which someday may help him shoot down his enemy. Because altitude is lost during most maneuvers, the safe pilot will climb well above the established limit. Easiest to perform and fundamentally a basic maneuver on which more difficult acrobatics depend is the normal loop. When the loop is well done, the airplane outlines a nearly perfect circle in the sky. As the pilot noses down to begin his loop, he picks an aiming point, like this road. As he pulls up into his climb, he must keep his wings level and not fall off to either side. Coming out, he picks up the aiming point again and levels off. This time we are going to show you all the actions involved in making a loop. Pick an aiming point or any other definite object. Move the stick forward and open up the throttle for the dive. This dive gives the airplane the speed it needs. When the airplane is traveling fast enough, move the throttle to the full advanced position and ease way back on the stick. Keep it back to start climbing. Increased pressure on the stick keeps the airplane on the arc of the circle. When approaching the peak of the loop, we hold the picture to show the position of the wing against the horizon. This position must be checked until you're sure the airplane is level. As soon as the airplane starts down, when there is no danger of stalling, retard the throttle to keep the engine from over-revving. When coming out of the loop, the airplane must still be headed for the aiming point. Advance the throttle to climb to the original altitude and then push the stick forward to resume normal flight. In performing the loop, here are the points of common errors. Failure to attain sufficient speed on the dive before the climb is started. Too much back pressure on the stick during the climb. This may lead to a stall. Retarding the throttle too early. This makes the airplane fall out of the loop. And lastly, errors in rudder use at any point in the loop. This results in failure to maintain the flight path in a vertical plane. When the stick is in neutral position, the airplane is in level flight and your line of sight is on the horizon. To climb, apply back pressure to the stick, which raises the elevators. In this position, the resultant slipstream pressure is down, which pushes the tail down and lifts the nose up above the horizon. The pilot's line of sight also comes above the horizon, and he knows the airplane is climbing. So, conversely, forward stick lowers the elevators, and the resultant slipstream pressure is up. Now, the pilot's line of sight is below the horizon, and the airplane is diving. A neutral stick will hold the plane at a constant angle of glide, while back pressure will return the airplane to level flight, which can be maintained by returning the stick to neutral and centering the controls. When the airplane is flying straight ahead and the rudder is neutral, the nose remains on one point of the horizon. To change direction to the left, rudder pressure is applied, which will force the tail to the right, yawing the plane to the left. Right rudder pressure, on the other hand, moves the airplane back along the horizon to the right. By neutralizing the rudder, the airplane once again is made to fly straight ahead. In considering the third set of controls, the ailerons, it can be seen that stick pressure to the pilot's left forces the left aileron up, causing a downward force on the plane's left wing. The right aileron goes down, raising the right wing. Thus, the airplane would tend to roll about its longitudinal axis. Contrariwise, stick pressure to the pilot's right forces the left aileron down and the left wing up. Inversely, the right wing goes down. Now, if we were to cause the airplane to roll on its side in a vertical position so that the wings no longer support the airplane, continuing until the airplane is flying on its back, different problems of control effect will arise. The most important thing to remember is that such maneuvers can only be correctly performed by complete coordination of controls. If, for instance, we wish to roll counterclockwise, we apply left pressure to the ailerons and the rudder. This coordination of control causes a motion to the left. As the airplane approaches the vertical position, this continued left rudder would cause the airplane to dive off to the left. To counteract this tendency, right or top rudder must be applied to hold the nose up. This must not be a sudden movement, but a blended change instead. The beginning application of left rudder and ailerons is just what we would have done for a simple turn to the left. Now, to arrest this turning action, we must also apply forward stick pressure for elevator action. As it is now approaching the same relative location the rudder has in normal flight, the elevator deviation will cause the airplane to react as the rudder usually does. Note that the flapping of the elevators in this vertical position is exactly like that of a rudder in normal flight. The continued application of these controls will cause the airplane to rotate further. Let us examine the situation at the moment of inverted flight. Compare the position of the control surfaces to that of the airplane in normal flight. You'll find that the ailerons and rudder are the same as if the plane were right side up. The elevators in this position serve now to keep the airplane from nosing down. But from the pilot's upside down point of view, he is applying right rudder and forward stick. Let's continue our roll now. As the airplane approaches the vertical position again, once more top rudder must be applied, but now it is left rudder. At 90 degrees, the roll is nearing its completion, and you can see that the pilot uses left stick and rudder as he did at the start. As the airplane again approaches the upright position and normal flight is resumed, the forward stick pressure is released and both ailerons and rudder are neutralized. None of these were sudden control movements. All changes were effected by blending the pressures from one position to another. Acrobatic maneuvers cannot be correctly performed without perfect coordination of the surface controls.